Welcome back, everybody. Today we're looking at box and whisker plots. So the first thing we're going to do, as we do with almost any set of data, is we're going to put these numbers in order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that first. There we are. So now that our numbers are in order from least to greatest, we're going to go through and we're going to find all the different parts that we need in order to create the box and whisker plot. The first part we need is we need our median, and if you remember, the median is the number in the middle. So in this case, the number 25 is the median. That is our number in the middle of the set of data. The next thing we're going to identify are the minimum and maximum, and as you might imagine, the maximum is the largest number. We're just going to abbreviate that, and the minimum is the smallest number, and again, going to abbreviate. The next step is to find the upper quartile and the lower quartile. Now the way that works is you're going to take the numbers on the left and right of the median and you're going to find the median of those numbers. So if we're looking at the left hand side, what we're talking about is all of the numbers from 21 to 24. Those are the numbers we're going to look at, and we're going to take the median of those numbers. Now since there isn't a number in the middle, what we have to do is we have to take these two numbers and add them together. We end up with 45, and then we're going to divide that by 2, and that will give us our median. And in this case, the median is going to be 22.5. Now remember that even though this is the median of the lower half of the numbers, what it's actually called is the lower quartile. And I'm going to go ahead and spell that out for you. Lower quartile. Now for the upper quartile, we're going to do the exact same thing except on the other side of the median. So we're going to look at our two numbers in the middle, and this time it's actually going to be pretty easy. If both numbers are the same, then you automatically know that that number, when you add them together and divide by 2, is going to be the same thing as the two numbers it came from. 26 plus 26 is 52, and if you divide that by 2, you get 26. And this would be our upper quartile. And quartile is spelled the same. There we go. So now that we have all of the different parts of the box and whisker plot, the last remaining thing is to actually put this whole thing together. So let's look at what that would look like. First, we're going to need a number line. So there we have a number line, and we're going to just label the different values on the number line. So we go from a range of 21 to 32, so we're going to go from 20 at our lowest number, and we'll just say that every line represents a 2. So that'd be 20, 22, 4, 6, 8. This would be 30 right here, and then 40 here. So here we have all of our different values for the number line, and the way that it works is this. The first thing we have to do is we're going to plot the median on our number line. So 25 would be right in between these two lines here, 24 and 26, and we just draw a line vertically above the number line. Next thing we're going to do is put in the lower and upper quartiles. So we have 22.5 as one of our values, and then we also have 26 as the other value. These three numbers give us the shape of a box for the box and whisker plot. The last part of what we do is we have to plot the minimum and the maximum. So our minimum is 21, and this time we plot that by putting a little point above 21 and connecting that point to the box with a line. And my line's a little bit off, but you can see the basic idea. And then the same thing with the maximum. We're going to draw a line all the way up to 32, where we have our maximum. And that represents, those two lines represent the whisker part of the box and whisker plot. So this is how you create the box and whisker plot. Now all of these different parts, the important thing to remember is what they all represent. So the two whiskers, the points on the ends, represent the minimum and maximum. The two sides of the box represent the lower quartile and upper quartile, and the middle represents the median. So what all of this does is each section of the box and whisker plot is representative of 25% of the numbers from our original data set. So for example, from 21 to 22.5, we have 25% of the numbers that we started with. Same thing for each of the sections on our graph. So that's how a box and whisker plot works. So what we'll do is I'll give you another set of numbers and we'll see if you can create a box and whisker plot with those sets of numbers. So here we have the next set of numbers, so go ahead and pause the video, put the numbers in order, and then create your box and whisker plot. Okay, so if we put these numbers in order, then our numbers are going to be 1, 1, 3, 3, 4, 4, there's some kind of pattern going on here it looks like, 5, there it went, 6, 6, 7, and 14. So the first part is to find the median, which is the middle number. So from each side I'm going to count in 5 spaces, and then that would leave the number 4 as the median. And I'm going to abbreviate this time and just call it MED. We know that the 1 is the minimum. We know that the 14 is the maximum. And then the last two parts come from the numbers that we have on each side of the median. So I'm going to look at these numbers first, and this time, luckily for us, we actually have a number that's in the center, so we don't have to do any extra math. This right here would be the lower quartile, and we're going to abbreviate that. And then on the other side we have the 6, which represents the upper quartile. So our final step would just be to put all of this onto a number line. So let's go ahead and put a number line on here, and let's graph all of this information that we have. So the first part that we graph is the median at the number 4, and this time I think I'm just going to number these by 2's. So this would be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So the first one is at 4, so above the 4, that's where I put my line for the median. My lower quartile is 3, so it's really, really close. And then my upper quartile is 6, and again, it's pretty close. So I'm going to create my box using those values. My minimum value is a 1, so I'm going to put a point there with a whisker. And my upper, or my maximum value, is a 14, so I put a point there, and once again, connect that with the whisker. So there we have our creation of our box and whisker plot for this set of data. And again, remember that each section represents 25% of the numbers that we have in our data, which means from the numbers 6 to 14, that represents 25% of our numbers. And if we look at our data, that would be right here. These numbers represent 25% of all of the numbers that we had. So there we have it, box and whisker plots.